Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Daria. We have with us Mr. G.S. Agarwal, CFO at Shriram Housing Finance, joining in. Welcome to the show, Mr. Agarwal, and a pleasure to speak to you as well. Mr. Agarwal, my first question coming to you is with regards to the quarterly numbers that have been released. Have the numbers been in line with your expectations? Because clearly, after the first wave as well, the expectations for FY21 for majority of the business were really weak. However, we did somewhere outperform the expectations. How has it been for Shriram?
Yeah, for Shriram, I mean, after the first wave, the situation was completely different. Like initially, first quarter of the last year was completely washed out. So we had a run rate of disbursing almost 150 to 200 crore in last year. So whereas we disbursed only 77 crore in the Q1 of FY21. So, but we were lucky enough, and since we came to the market at a very early stage, we started operating from head office immediately after the lockdown was open in the month of mid-May 2020.
Hmm.
And we also opened our branches as per the state guidelines, and wherever possible, our salespeople started touching base with the customers. So due to that, the rest of the 3 quarters, we were able to recoup the loss which we in the disbursements which we did in the first quarter of the year. So for the entire year, our disbursements grew by almost 95%. So
Hmm.
from 1127 crore to 2195. So almost we doubled our disbursements in FY21,
Hmm.
and our AUM grew by almost 70% in last
Wow.
year. Yeah. So last year was really a fantastic year for us, FY21.
Hmm.
And we initially expected FY22 to be similar, not in terms of growth wise, because we cannot have a 95% disbursement growth year on year. But yes, we expected around 30-35% growth, which should come start coming from the Q1 itself.
Hmm.
But then in the month of towards end of March, we realized that the impact of second wave is started coming in, and April, by the time we reached say first or second week of April, it was like complete again statewide lockdowns, and impact of second wave started coming in. So Q1 of FY22 again was not so good as expected. But yes, in the month of June, we reached almost 70% of our normal disbursement level. So in Q1 of FY22, we disbursed around 221 crore
Hmm.
as compared to 77 crore in Q1 of FY21.
One.
Yeah. So that way it was a little better. In terms of AUM growth, we had around 65% growth YOY, and our PAT was also quite healthy in Q1. So almost 82% growth in PAT, 84% growth in PBT. So overall, Q1 was okay, and we expect now from Q2 onwards the growth will start picking up, and we will be maybe back to almost pre-COVID level,
Hmm.
unless there is a chance of another third wave or impact of this Delta virus or other viruses.
I know, absolutely. So overall, we've taken the impact of COVID into consideration as well. How
Yeah.
has the asset quality scenario changed between FY20, or if you could say from March 2020 to now?
Yeah. So in terms of asset quality, our NPA are more or less stable, though it has expected to fall. So in last financial year FY21, our NPA as on 31st March were 1.87% GNPA, and this was down from 2.4% in March 20. So there has been a significant reduction in terms of GNPA in last year FY21. In FY22 first quarter, marginally the NPAs have gone up from 1.87% to 2.32. But if you compare YOY, then these were almost flat. So 30th June 2021, our NPAs were around 2.34%, which has come down to 2.32%, a marginal 2 basis point reduction, which is, we can say, almost flat.
Hmm, hmm. And from here on, how are you seeing the asset quality pan out, taking into consideration the moratoriums that have been given, the restructuring that has been provided for as well? Do you think there is a scare of asset quality deterioration, or do you think it's something which will be sustainable?
Yeah, so I don't think there will be any scare of asset quality going forward, because if the business has a healthy growth and the customers' cash flows have also started improving once the lockdown is completely lifted for the other sectors also. So once the cash flow and the economy comes back into its normalcy, so the asset quality will also start improving.
Hmm.
We expect good book growth in this year. So backed by the healthy growth in the business and backed by our excellent collection mechanism. So I expect that year-end NPA should be somewhere around 1.5% around, or maybe a little below that.
Hmm. 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 Right. And overall, in terms of the different segments of business that we are operating as well, which are the segments where you've seen good growth that has come in? In fact, it's been better than what we could have probably seen, pre-COVID as well. How would you actually describe the segmentation bit?
Yeah, so in terms of segmentation, we find the good growth will be coming one from the customer segment wise. If we go, then salaried customer, there will be a huge demand. And in terms of ticket size of around 30 lakhs to 50 lakhs range will be seeing a good growth. And mostly in the home loans. So loan against property will still remain subdued for as far as my assessment goes, maybe in the quarter two or quarter three, because the cash flows of the customers will start coming in back to the normalcy, and then they will start picking up slowly. But Q2, Q3 might be a little subdued for LAP, but home loan, I don't see any asset quality stress going forward.
Okay. And overall, with regards to where even different segments of business go, are we seeing a change happening in terms of the revenue mix for us?
No, so we have already started focusing more on HL and giving less stress on lab and construction finance. So we have a very small construction finance book of around 3 to 4% of our total AUM, and we continue to maintain that at around 5 to 6% level only. We will not grow our construction finance book, especially unless the situation completely crystallizes, like how the total real estate growth and the uh, things are panning out. In terms of lab, our focus remains subdued, and we are planning to have around 20 to 25% of our incremental disbursement towards lab, around 4 to 5% towards construction finance, and rest almost 70% towards home loans. So that will continue to remain during this financial year.
Okay. And overall, in terms of uh, business segments, is there any pressure with regards to disbursements? Because there have been places where people have not been able to pay, because of which the stringency in terms of disbursements has increased. The qualification criteria has gone up by a lot of financial companies. So any segments where you're seeing pressure on that front?
Yeah, so see, we are basically into self-employed segment. We
Correct.
have around 80% of our disbursements come from self-employed, around 20% only salaried customer. So in terms of self-employed, there are certain industries where the impact of COVID is still continuing or may continue for quite some time, maybe for a 2 3 quarters more.
Mm.
We are extremely cautious in those segments, like segments related to tourism and travel, and certain other segments which are impacted by, like hotels, restaurants, uh, malls. So these segments are definitely getting impacted with the COVID, and we are extremely cautious. So we have put our stringent norms if we are getting any customers from these segments. So definitely our LTV norms have gone significantly tighter, our pricing norms and our uh, bureau score norms. So we have tightened our credit underwriting completely so
Mhm.
as to counter the impact of COVID.
Okay. And in terms of geographical expansion as well, what's going to be the strategy from here on? Because currently as well, our concentration is more towards Maharashtra, Gujarat. That's the space that we're dealing with, right?
Yeah, that's right. So in terms of geographical concentration, yes, we are actually active in 7 states. So 4 states of south, sorry, 3 states of south. APTG we consider only one state still. APTG, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, and in west Maharashtra and Gujarat, and in north Delhi NCR and Rajasthan. So we are focused completely into these 7 states. But this year, we would like to take advantage of the huge network of Shriram City Union, which is our parent company. So Shriram City Union has a very strong presence in APTG. They have almost 400 touch points or small branches in APTG. So
Hmm.
we plan to cover almost 50% of that in this year. So almost 178, 180 branches we have planned. We will open in APTG. So we call it these are the very, very small branches which are designed to the customer to take advantage of cross sale of
Hmm.
Shriram City Union tested customers. So right now we have 14 touch points in Andhra Pradesh APTG, which we were planning to increase to 178.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
by FY23, we would like to cover the entire 400 touch points of uh, Shriram City Union. We call it a Grih Purti branch. So
Okay.
So we expect to generate almost 1,000 crore of AUM from these branches.
Hmm.
That is our focus area right now.
Correct. And with this, in terms of the collection efficiency as well, we did see a dip that came in the month of May, but again, it started to pick up in the month of June as well. Uh, by when do you think we can come back to those 97% levels? Do you think that much is sustainable?
Yeah. So in terms of collection efficiency, our collection efficiency in the month of April was March quarter was 97. In
Correct.
April, it came down to 92. In May, it was 90. But in the month of June, if you take the impact of restructuring, then it shoot up to almost 102%. So we expect that our collection efficiency should be back to normal in this coming quarter. July, are expecting around standalone collection efficiency
Hmm.
around 94, 95%. So by the end of this quarter, it will be completely normal.
Hmm. And in terms of the cost of funds as well, we've seen a sharp downtake from almost a 9.44% in the second quarter of FY22. It's come down to 8.59% in terms of FY22 in the first quarter. Now, do you think this is something which is sustainable, or what's the average number we should be working with? Because if not now, 6 to 8 months down the line, we will have RBI, which will start increasing their rates as well, taking into consideration how the economy functions. So, what's that average number do you think where we are comfortable at?
So in terms of cost of fund, right now we are borrowing all the loans at sub 8 rates.
Hmm.
So 8.59 is the cumulative cost of fund, which is like my earlier loans, which are at a much higher rate. Because last 2 years back, when there was a ILFS happened and the cost of fund for all the NBFC and the HFC shot up significantly. So those loans are getting now repriced as the bank's MCLR are due for the renewal. And the new borrowing which we are doing is at sub 8 rates. We also expect funding from NHB this year, because earlier we were not eligible because of that NHB's HL LAP ratio to a very, very small margin. So now we are qualified for NHB refinance also. So once that comes, we expect our cost of fund for the year to be below 8%.
Hmm. That's nice. And with all of this, what's going to be the growth strategy from here on? What are the milestones we're looking to cross? And anything that you could tell us for FY22 as a whole as well?
Yeah, so FY22, we expect our disbursement to be in the range of around 2,500 odd crore.
Hmm.
Initially, when we started this year, I mean, before the start of this year, we had planned a disbursement of 3,000 crore.
Hmm.
But having this first quarter washed away because of the lockdowns, so we expect around 2,600 crore to be the closing disbursements for the year. And that will take us to almost 5,200 to 5,400 kind of AUM.
Okay. And from a 3 to 5 year perspective, lastly, Mr. Agarwal, any milestones we as a company are planning to, look at?
Yeah, so in 3 years perspective, we plan to get to an AUM of almost 8,000 crore, and 5 year we will be
Hmm.
crossing definitely 10,000 crore with this. And in terms of to augment that kind of growth, our parent company has already approved a 500 crore of capital for this year, out of which 200 crore has already came in the month
Payment.
of May. And balance 300 crore we are expecting by maybe third or fourth quarter, depending on the growth and depending on the requirement. So as and when we require, we will be getting that capital, which will fuel our growth plans for the FY23.
Right. And it looks like a strong plan as well. And the sector that you're operating in right now as well, I think there is some bit of, especially on the housing front as well, there is a lot of demand. I mean, even pre-COVID levels, we didn't see these kind of numbers that were clocked in, in terms of sales. So I think that's going to be a blessing in disguise that COVID has bought for a lot of companies as well.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mr. Agarwal, so much for speaking to us. Pleasure talking to you. Great insights, and good luck for the coming quarters and coming years, and to achieve the milestones as well. And stay safe.
thank you, Hira.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.